What's up? It's Penuel the Black Pen. Today's video is sponsored by Sibaya Foods. I'm going to drop their website link in the description below and also pin it in the comments. www.sibayafoods.co.za is their website, and you can go and check out what they offer. They sell a lot of meat products, in particular meat that you're not really used to. They sell rabbit meat products, patties, wors, sausages, mince. They also have duck available, but they also have chicken and beef. And one of the cool things that they're working on now is the ability to courier those meat and dairy, by the way, and dairy products to you in the comfort of your own home. Sibaya Foods sponsored today's video, and I'd like to thank them very, very much for sponsoring. As I said, please check out their various links, specifically their website address, in the description and pinned as a comment below. I'm currently coming to you guys from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. I've been wanting to come to Dubai for a while now. To be fully honest, when the Slay Queen started making Dubai seem cool, I didn't want to come to Dubai anymore because they kind of ruined it for me. And it became, if you're going to Dubai, it means you're a blesser or you're taking girls there. It looked very cheesy and whack. But since then, I've done some research just on Dubai itself. Never mind like the miracle that it is. Because for people that don't know, Dubai was actually built on a desert. I think within a 20-year period. South Africa's democracy is about 30 years old. In 30 years, they took a desert and they turned it into something absolutely spectacular. I've met so many young people who are based in Dubai or who are doing business in Dubai. And they say that the ease of doing business here, the ease of investing in Dubai, the ease of getting citizenship is something to be marveled at for many, many countries who would like to get the influx of tourists, of investments, of business, etc., etc. Dubai is expensive. That's one of the things that I've learned very quickly. Dubai is quite expensive. I think the AED, what is the AED one when you look it up? The dirhams, sorry. I don't know why I'm looking it up. The dirhams, it's 1 dirham is to 5, just over 5 rand. So it's a 1 to 5, but sometimes that's not really accurate because purchasing power is more important. But things here are quite pricey. There's a website called namio.com, which I always visit before I travel overseas. www.namio.com, where you get to compare the cost of living in 2 cities. And for myself, based in Johannesburg, whenever I'm traveling to a Seoul in South Korea, if I'm traveling to a Beijing in China, if I'm traveling to a New York in America, if I'm traveling to a London in England, if I'm traveling to a Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, it's very nice to compare basic things, milk, eggs, water, a meal at McDonald's as an example. So just to compare, our Big Mac in South Africa is currently, I think about 70, 80 rand for a Big Mac meal. A regular Big Mac meal in South Africa. In Dubai currently, you're looking at a regular Big Mac meal at about 130 to 140 rand. So that gives you some type of comparison. But the food is expensive. It's a huge tourist destination. And I can only imagine that Cape Town in particular would love to have a place like this. The other interesting thing about Dubai is the fact that about 20 to 25% of the population are locals, Emiratis. The other 75 to 80% are foreigners. So when you land here at DXB, number one, you're getting picked up in meter taxis that are driven by foreigners. I've been meeting some Pakistanis, some from India, etc. The people who work at the stores are not from here and. So the labor here is largely expats. It's foreigners, largely. By and large. So you're getting served by foreigners. And then you yourself are a foreigner because you're a tourist. And then everyone you're bumping into in the streets is not a local Emirati. It is wild. Like, they created this amazing space, which is almost like go create a tourist destination. Doesn't need to disturb the rest of the country. And let tourists go there and spend as much money as possible and invest as much money as they can. And let them be served by foreigners as well there. And then we'll carry on with the affairs of our country. I think that is so fascinating. I know parts of Cape Town are probably like that. Parts of Johannesburg are probably like that. I'm not so sure about Durban as well. The reason I'm here is for COP28, which is the Conference of Parties, COP, which has to do with meetings of countries and various stakeholders discussing climate change and the impact of climate change and ensuring that we are taking better care of our environment. I'm here. I haven't been to the conference. I'm going later today, but I did have a dinner yesterday with an amazing company, a state-owned company from Russia called Rosatom, which does nuclear energy, nuclear weapons, nuclear medicine, and the like. I did get to be exposed to this company as well when I was in St. Petersburg earlier this year in Russia, where there was a forum for Russia and Africa to have to do with trade, humanitarian, and looking at Rosatom and what it is, and then contrasting it with maybe like an Eskom and a Sasol and what it could be, makes me very, very sad, because the company is doing amazing work. They are currently promoting their SMR, small modular reactors, which are these like small portable, sometimes mobile, sometimes floating on the sea, power stations that are powered by nuclear, which provide clean energy, which provide cheap energy at a fixed cost. So I was at an event hosted by them yesterday evening. Got to meet a lot of foreign delegates there from Mongolia, obviously from Russia. There were people from Kenya, there were people from Uganda, there were some people from America, etc. And there were some South Africans there as well. And some of them have been here for a couple of days now, since COP started on the 30th of November. It ends on the 12th of December, I believe. I know President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa has been here as well. I saw Prince Charles was here. Some of the people said they'd seen Bill Gates. The leader of the UAE, I just want to get his name for you. The leader of the UAE also is here as the host of all the nations that are coming here. Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who was in the news in South Africa for landing in the Eastern Cape with a delegate of like 500 people. And it came out then, which we did not know, that they'd bought a lot of land. I think it was converted or it became a game farm. And more importantly, they'd invested arguably 368 million rand into a railway in the Eastern Cape, something that had not been announced in the news, something so major. Why is it major? People are like, but people always invest in different countries. And it is major because can you imagine a South African president, can you imagine a South African minister comes out in the news that they have invested hundreds of millions in a foreign country somewhere to extend and to renovate a runway there, and they have bought land. And on that land, they have built a game farm or whatever the case may be. And they traveled with 500 people. And there were rumors later on that they flew in another plane full of foreign women that were coming to entertain and host them as well. Not even local South African women. Not that I'm saying that local South African women should have been there hosting them and taking care of them. But just can you imagine that idea? So some of the research I've done, which is not really important for today's video, but is how the United Arab Emirates have been created. It's like these 7 kingdoms or provinces that have their own rulers. I know the ruler of Dubai in particular, I think he becomes the vice president of the country. Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan is the ruler of Abu Dhabi, which is actually the capital of the United Arab Emirates. I just want to get the name of the leader of Dubai. He's quite a popular chap himself. Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. I've seen him in certain interviews speaking about how they are planning to make Dubai the #1 city in the world. And the interview, I think, was an American. And one of the things he was asking is, but why is it fine for New York or Los Angeles and maybe a London to want to be the best in the world? Why can't we? We want to have the best schools. We want to have the best infrastructure. We want to have the best transport systems. We want to be the #1 city in the world. And we want all the major businesses to be based here. I got to see the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. I think it's got like over 170 floors. I got to see some of the other taller buildings that are here. And I got to see there are certain business districts here. I think there's I don't know if it's Internet City or Media City, but you've got Microsoft, IBM, all these big companies based here. And I can imagine how many other businesses are run from here, because I believe they also have very favorable tax. I made a video about how to avoid tax. Avoiding tax is legal. Certain companies that come and register here but operate globally, and how they come here because it's favorable from a tax perspective. So it's one of the things that the leader of Dubai, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, has spoken about as well. So yeah, those are some of the things I wanted to cover. Vusi Thembekwayo has spoken about Dubai. He spends quite a bit of time here and in the UAE in particular. Speaker in South Africa, global speaker, Vusi Thembekwayo, who runs My Growth Fund, which is a venture capital firm. Gray Chabesi, who I've had on the panel show as well, who is a Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency millionaire, originally from Malawi, then based in Cape Town, today based anywhere in the world. I think he might be in Tanzania, he might be in Asia, he could be in America. He's constantly traveling, he's living his life, he's free because he's found something that works for him. And what worked for him was Bitcoin. It has allowed him to be the global citizen that he is. He has a base in Dubai as well. I believe he's got some investments here as well. I'm meeting with an amazing lady and her family who homeschools. I'm very passionate about homeschooling and home education. Her name is Hannah. She is based in Dubai. But she says when it's hot here, her and her family migrate to other parts of the world. So they only come here in winter. I believe it's winter now for the next 3 months. Their winter, yesterday the temperature I think was 28 degrees. And then the minimum at night probably went to like 17. 28 degrees winter, where your winter, boy, you cannot breathe. But apparently their summers here are sweltering, melting. So you maybe don't want to be here unless you're going to be in air-conditioned cars, offices, buildings, etc. Dubai's by the beach. I don't even think I need to sell Dubai. Number one, I haven't explored it that much as yet. I'm going to see it over the next couple of days. But I don't think it needs any any promotion from me. You guys have seen the pictures. You know the Burj Khalifa. You've seen the Palm Islands. Tourists from all over the world constantly come here, and DXB, the airport, is central for people that want to connect with almost anywhere in the world. A lot of people use it as a connecting airport for the world. I was looking at the buildings last night. They looked stunning. I was looking at the water. I was looking at the yachts. I was looking at the cars that are here. It is the potential of what could be in places like South Africa. And maybe I want to say this specifically because I'm at COP28. The idea of climate change comes now when South Africa is dealing with its power issues. Eskom, electricity, independent power producers, and the idea of breaking the monopoly that is Eskom. The monopoly was built by the apartheid government, which is a pretty dope idea because when Hendrik van der Bijl and the government of the time built it, they wanted to power South Africa at cost. It was a non-profit organization, to be honest. It wasn't meant to make money. The apartheid government, the Afrikaner government at the time, the National Party said, look, we want to industrialize South Africa. This is our home. Hierdie is the fatherland. We want to be and to build. And they made sure that they built Eskom into this super industry, which not only powers South Africa, but our neighbors and other African countries as well. And over time, unfortunately, it moved from being a non-profit to a for-profit organization, state-owned enterprise now. But it had a monopoly on electricity generation, which was fine when it was cheap and it was sustainable and it worked. But over the last 16 years, we have had load shedding from the time when Thabo Mbeki was the president to Jacob Zuma, who under him, Brian Molefe and Matsela Koko stopped load shedding for 2 years. And then after that, they were linked to corruption with the Guptas and under the Zondo Commission. And then Cyril Ramaphosa came in, Andre Terete came in, and we had the worst load shedding since then. Things just keep going from bad to worse. 2 power stations were built. The price has been inflated, I think 5 or 10-fold, and they're still not complete. And we don't have power, and it keeps getting worse. They've appointed a Minister of Electricity, Ramokgopa Usputla, Josienzo Ramokgopa, under President Cyril Ramaphosa, but he hasn't really done anything. Just a lot of more promises and lies. I think one of the videos that is trending is that he said load shedding will end on the 24th of December. December's coming and things are getting worse. People are joking, saying, well, maybe he didn't say which year, December. Maybe December 2035. It's jokes because we laugh through the pain, but it's not cool. So we're speaking about electricity. I've said before, Cyril Ramaphosa makes money from Eskom, whether there's load shedding or not, through Shanduka, in partnership with Glencore. Glencore supplies coal with Shanduka to Eskom. Glencore also owns Astron Energy, which was Caltex. They supply Petro SA with diesel, which then powers the generators at Eskom when there's load shedding. He also is in partnership with Pembani under Phuthuma Nhleko, of which with Shanduka, they have a stake, I believe, in Engen, which is also partly owned, I think, by Malaysians. But they also Engen supplies diesel, to Petro SA. And then his brother-in-law, Patrice Motsepe, has been approved through his company, African Rainbow Energy, ARE, which is run by ex-Eskom CEO Brian Thomas, and some of his other associates there. They've been given a lot of licenses for independent power production, which will hopefully come in time. Those licenses were issued by Cyril Ramaphosa, the president. His brother-in-law is Patrice, because he's married to Patrice's sister. It was given by a minister in the presidency at the time, Jeff Radebe, who also happens to be married to one of Patrice Motsepe's sisters, which means he is also the brother-in-law of Cyril Ramaphosa. So we'll see how that goes, but it seems like this cartel, family business, and situation, which is quite sad. Now, what's happened as well is that Cyril Ramaphosa has attended. He was in St. Petersburg when I was there. He's now in Dubai, saying nice things as a diplomat, trying to be friendly. And the first frustration is, number one, I do not think Cyril Ramaphosa puts South Africa first. And it's one of the reasons I don't like him as a president for South Africa. When he travels, he tries to get along with everyone, which is fine, being friendly. But he's not firm on what South Africa and South Africans need. I think more than anything, after the diplomatic relations and the speeches and the panels, I think he's more focused on what money can be made for himself, his family, his in-laws, the Motsepes, the Radebes, his business associates, etc. And some of his other funders, people that probably are listed on the CR17 bank statements, which the courts locked in South Africa, which makes me not trust the courts either. How can we make money for ourselves? He got $8.5 billion to push South Africa to move green and move into renewables. A South Africa that was getting industrialized under the apartheid government with Eskom, Sasol, Iscor. Right now, Iscor, which was sold to ArcelorMittal, is struggling, and about 3,000 people are poised to lose their jobs. It's a big industry in Newcastle, my hometown. It was Iscor when I grew up. It was sold, it became Metal Steel, ArcelorMittal. Today, it is destroyed partly because of the electricity issues. We've been built on coal. We have a lot of coal, some of it which is stuck today because there's been destruction by the harbors, Richards Bay and the like. We were getting built by nuclear because South Africa became one of the forerunners of nuclear back in the day. Today, countries like Russia are doing that, and other countries as well. Egypt is now moving into nuclear energy. France is powered by nuclear energy. Half of the Western Cape under Kuberg is powered by nuclear. That's why the Western Cape didn't have load shedding as bad as the rest of the country did. But Cyril Ramaphosa and whoever he works with there, the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Gwede Mantashe, argues with Cyril on many of these points. The Minister of State-owned Enterprises, of which Eskom feeds into, is Pravin Gordhan as well. You've got Naledi Pandor, who's been very powerful in foreign relations. She's the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Very powerful on Russia and Ukraine, on our stance on Israel and Hamas and Palestine. That's why a lot of people have been like, but Cyril Ramaphosa as the president is never there stating exactly our stance as South Africans and what is in the best interest of South Africans. Thabo Mbeki was just recently in an interview speaking about how democracy has failed Africa and why there are so many coups on the African continent, and how South Africa needs to relook what's going on because we are not insulated. South Africans are not happy. They voted for an ANC government, and 30 years later, they're still not seeing significant change. There's no real transformation economically, even though there are BEE beneficiaries like the president of South Africa, like his brother-in-law, Patrice Motsepe, like so many other black beneficiaries of BEE, but it hasn't filtered down to the masses. We are not seeing skills investments, especially to the masses of South Africans. South Africans are sitting unemployed, poor, living on 350 Rand grant, which is a pittance, and it's sad. When you look at the UAE as an example, the locals here are oil rich, even though they have moved so far away from the oil that built them and gone into other industries. South Africa was commodities rich, gold, coal, platinum, etc. How was that translated to the lives, to turning South Africa into a Dubai, into a United Arab Emirates, into a Qatar, into a Kuwait? And while South Africa is being funded to move into renewables, which unfortunately are not good enough to be a base load. You can't rely on solar and wind because they rely on natural energy or natural providers. We don't have the sun all day. We don't have the wind all the time. So we need coal, which is big. We have uranium, which can power nuclear. We have gas as well. We could be one of the wealthiest and the greatest economies on the world. But your leadership in the country is moving us away to that. And what saddens me, what hurts me, is when you look at the list of the biggest carbon emitters in the world that destroy the ozone layer, this climate change agenda that I'm here for. South Africa's not in the top 10. It might be number 15, it might even be number 20. South Africa. This is not just on a general because China and the USA, that you're like, yeah, but they're big countries and huge populations. There's something called carbon emissions per capita, that is per person. We are not even in the top 10 there. But we are in a rush. We are in a rush to move away from coal and oil and gas. There is no nation, there is no first world nation in the world that hasn't been built on fossil fuels. There is no first world. The United States of America, you can go to Germany, you can go to the United Kingdom, you can go to China, you can go to Russia. They have all been built on fossil fuels. South Africa and what it was and what it had become was built on coal energy. The industries that we've celebrated, that we are currently destroying today, have been built on fossil fuels. Yet Africa, and South Africa in particular, is being told by the first world, move away from those things. That is very disrespectful from colonial entities like France. And that's why there are coups in the west of Africa. Gabon, Burkina Faso, Guinea, and others, Mali. France, a first world nation, is powered by nuclear. And they get their uranium from their colonial subjects in West Africa. And the colonial subjects are saying enough is enough. If you want our uranium, you will pay a fair price. Outside of that, we will get nuclear for ourselves. You guys, France, America, Germany, that are still today pumping in coal to industrialize your nations. You have the audacity to tell Africa, which so desperately needs development, you cannot do what we did. And fossil fuels is just one argument. Africa is rich in oil, Africa is rich in gas, Africa is rich in coal. But the Western world is telling us, get away from that so that we cannot develop. Things that also build them are things like slavery. No, you need to consider human rights. You need to consider fair wages. For you to build your nation into what it became, you weren't considering human rights or fair wages. Today you want to speak about it because you have an advantage. It's almost a white arrogance in South Africa saying, we built our wealth, we are rich, we have beautiful homes in Cape Town and holiday homes in Durban, Mhlanga and Ballito. Our families are rich, we send our kids to private schools, we drive these Mercedes Benzes, we live in mansions. We got that from British colonialism. We got that from apartheid. We exploited the labor, we got the gold and the coal, and we became rich. And today, you black South Africans who are trying to play catch up with us, you cannot do what we did. You cannot exploit labor. You cannot exploit the minerals of the nation for yourselves. You cannot do what we did. Let's play fair now. Labor laws. You cannot set up a bank the way we set up a bank. You cannot set up an insurance company the way we set up an insurance company. You cannot do what we did to get to where we are. But you must play catch up. We just don't know how you're going to do it. That's how America, Germany, France, the United Kingdom, and all these other nations sound when they have the audacity to tell us. And sadly, your African leaders are not the ones to help drive your agenda. Africa should be given at least 100 years to say you guys can exploit your labor like the Chinese did. You can exploit your labor if you feel it is right. You can exploit your minerals. You can price them at a premium because the rest of the world needs your cobalt. They need your chrome. They need your copper, etc. Lithium. You can use fossil fuels, coal, gas, as much as you want. Because you guys are actually not emitting like us. We're the ones destroying the nation, the world and the atmosphere. You guys can try and catch up. Instead, African leaders are being given bribes. These are bribes because we never know where this money goes. These are bribes. So it's very sad and kind of disgusting seeing one of the I don't know if it's a minister or one of the representatives from China coming to deliver these small generators, petrol generators. And you've got the Minister of Electricity, Josianto Ramokgopa, coming there and taking pictures. Generators that power like a fridge. 450, I think, of them. After the leader of China, Xi Jinping, was in South Africa for a BRICS summit, he came, he said China is going to be sponsoring a lot of money to help with the energy, and then they bring these generators. It is actually laughable. And I don't know if China is taking us seriously or if it's maybe some of your leadership. Because maybe they could have delivered that to South Africa and it could have been just mentioned in passing and not been given the fanfare. It is disgusting. Those things can be bought from one of the shops in South Africa easily. That's not going to fix clinics. That's not going to fix schools, hospitals, and. But South African leadership does not put South Africans first. They put themselves in their pockets first, and it's the same for the rest of the African continent, and people are tired. So as I go to COP28, of which apparently it's very full, I heard the green zone, which is open to many delegates, there's over 400,000 people were given authorization to visit there. Over the weekend, I think there were 100,000 people there. And then there's a blue zone, which is more special, where the serious dignitaries and the presidents and the whatever are going to be. I think 100,000 or over 100,000 people were given authorization. So I'm going to be in the green zone for some of the days, and I'm going to be in the blue zone as well, the VIP zone for I think 1 or 2 of the days as well. Just to go and hear and listen. And more importantly, after hearing and listening and learning and engaging and meeting with people, so that I can come back and speak to you guys. I've been sitting on the panel show, my YouTube platform, speaking to various stakeholders in South Africa who actually genuinely care about the country. I've sat with an amazing lady, Princess Mthombeni, who founded Africa for Nuclear, which is an advocacy group for nuclear energy on the African continent. That was on Penuel the Black Pen. You can go and check it out. Maybe I'll drop a link in the description. Also, it's coming up. It hasn't come out yet. On the panel show, I sit with her as well. Speaking about nuclear energy in South Africa, I've sat with a leader of AfriForum where they are looking into alternative energy as well. I'm planning to visit Orania where they've gone 50% off grid for the day. I've sat with people like Great Chabes. I've sat with Vusi Tembekwayo. I've sat with various leaders of political parties. Mpho Takada is one of the leaders that came out now. And he was speaking about a different type of energy mix. Musi Maimane, the leader of BOSA as well. I've sat with Gayton McKenzie, who has said we've got uranium, we've got gas, we're sitting on wealth. But someone somewhere or some people somewhere are saying don't get involved. Leave it alone. We need to have these conversations. And we need to be the ones that drive this change. We are being held prisoner by the West. Maybe parts of the East, we're not sure. I mean, Egypt has gone nuclear. The Middle East is going into nuclear and they are moving forward. They are making money. Russia, even though it's sanctioned by parts of the West, etc., they are big on nuclear energy. They've got an amazing mix, by the way. It's one of the things that I heard yesterday. I think they're on like 20% gas, 20% nuclear, 20%. They've got such an amazing energy mix. South Africa needs to wake up. Young South Africans, by young I'm talking 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, need to understand what all of these things mean. And they need to be like, it's time for us to rise. I don't want to join a youth league and laugh and chat. No, I want to lead. I want to be a young person like Tupac was before he was killed at age 25. I want to be a young leader and I want to speak out. And I want to lead. I want to get into spaces and be like, I'm 17 years old. I would like to be the leader of the space. I'm 25 years old. I would like to run this place. I'm 23 years old. I would like to generate energy for us. I'm 27 years old. I want to develop industry for the African continent, for South Africa. I want to lead. I'm old. I'm 37. I'm old now. I'm speaking as an adult. Some of you guys are young. You guys need to wake up. We need to give you as much information and support and resources as possible. If we can get you money, give a 17-year-old money and say, go build another ESCOM. Give a 23-year-old money and say, go build a bank. Go do amazing things. We'll send you to Dubai. We'll send you to Hong Kong. We'll send you to San Francisco. We'll send you wherever we need to send you so that your future is bright. Because currently, the old people, the apartheid beneficiaries, the white Afrikaner beneficiaries, and their friends, the ANC government, the black leadership, they are destroying South Africa for your future. Some of these people are in their 70s, their 80s. They will be dead in 10 to 20 years, but they'll leave you with a lot of debts that you owe the rest of the world. Debt that you were not even aware of. Debt that had to do with consumption and debt that wasn't industrializing your country. Young people are poor and hungry. Instead, they are focused, and this is not a knock. We always try to explain this is not a knock. They're busy with amapiano, music, dancing, challenges on TikTok. They're busy with booze now in the festive season. Instead of actually waking up and saying, how do we move this country of ours forward? And then after moving the country forward and having the discussions and doing the work, go and listen to amapiano and dance and do the challenges. But that must be 10% at max of your time. If you are awake for 16 hours a day, it cannot be that the bulk of it is just social media and doing nothing. I had DJ Sbu, #1 hustler in South Africa, speaking about the things young people need to do. I had Joshua Maponga speaking about what the African youth need to do in the decolonization project moving forward. He spoke about things like the 7th Industrial Revolution. We are not even in the 4th Industrial Revolution yet. I am passionate about waking up the poor and the oppressed. Black, white, colored, Indian, doesn't matter. And making them see how the real world works so that they can understand. And then getting them to understand what it takes to rise up, to pull yourselves out and to win. I'm currently having my video sponsored by small businesses because I understand that if it's just the big businesses, They already have big budgets. They're probably not even going to give me what's fair because they already use mainstream platforms. I've been saying to the small and medium enterprises, take a little bit of money, use my voice to champion your business to grow it so that in 10, 20 years, you are the multinational of tomorrow. Dubai is, I don't know, 20 or 20 something years old. How are you going to look in 20, 20 something years old if you're not going to partner with those of us who are alternative, who want you to win? Because the big guys are crushing you. If you look at what happened during the COVID lockdown, if you look at what's been happening with electricity, small businesses cannot survive. It's only the big ones with the huge capital that can go alternative, and you cannot. So use the platforms you can to do this. I'll keep you guys updated. It's Penuel the Black Pen coming from you from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates for COP28. I'm going to try and update you guys. Please stay tuned on my Twitter X. I'm going to probably send some updates there. I'm probably going to send some live streams on my Instagram as well. Maybe on my Facebook as well. Maybe some stuff on LinkedIn. I posted the video to Thabo Mbeki, ex-president Thabo Mbeki, on LinkedIn and on Instagram as well. Please go and check that out. I think it's pretty dope. Yeah, let's stay connected. Let's stay connected. Again, I want to thank Spire Foods for sponsoring this video. I hope you will thank Spire Foods for sponsoring this video. When I get sponsored, I get to travel, I get to do these cool things, and I get to give you guys information and education. And like I said, use my platform. Come together with like 20. Create a stokvel if you can. 20 people say we want to get into this industry. And part of our budget in our stokvel is to sponsor Penel's videos so that we can grow our stokvel members. Number two, so that Penel can highlight what our stokvel is doing, and so that we can try and connect with some of Penel's people, some of his fans, and so that we can drive the agenda. And Penel can say on his platforms, guys, there are small businesses out there that are sponsoring my videos, and we all need to come together in various rooms. I don't need to go to COP28 in Dubai. I don't need to go to a Russia-Africa forum in St. Petersburg. I don't need to go to Accra in Ghana. I don't need to go to South Korea or to China. We can gather in South Africa. I was invited by the University of KwaZulu-Natal, UKZN in Durban, the Howard College campus, and I was there meeting young people who are part of the BRICS youth group in South Africa. And I was saying, we don't have to worry about BRICS. We can unite as South Africans. The university campuses need to come together and say, we've got a way, whether it's the SRCs or others, we trade amongst each other as university campuses. We supply each other. There are young people in these campuses that offer the cleaning and the security and the food services and the caterings, etc., etc. We are doing that. And we can bring it even down and get the high schools, a high school network. We've got it for sports. Rugby has Craven Week and the like. Why not do it for entrepreneurship? That this school supplies that school supplies that school. If you look at the school's infrastructure, the cleaning, the mowing of the lawns, and the schools do it. It's the young kids, and they make money for themselves from the budgets of the governing body. And the students run entrepreneurship. This school has got its own brand of clothing. This school runs a podcast. This school is generating alternative energy. This school has created its own mini bank. This school has created an app which is like a WhatsApp. You look at Mark Zuckerberg, who was at Harvard at the time, building Facebook with Eduardo Saverin. These were university students. These were young people. We need young people to rise up. And I'm hoping that with my voice and my travels and the rooms I get allowed to go in today, I can go and suck as much information as possible. Give it to you guys. And then it's up to you guys to then use that information. Myself and some of my friends are doing business on the ground. You don't have to worry about me. What am I doing with it? Don't worry about me. Myself, my friends, my family, my business associates, we are running businesses. We are doing charity work. We are connecting and empowering and educating. We are fine. But this is for you. This is for you. You sit and you watch my YouTube video and you're like, Penel didn't give me money. Penel didn't give me a job, but he's giving me empowering information for me to go and unlock my mind and go work. A company like Spire Foods, connect with them. I've given you their website. Find out, can I fund you? Can I own a share? How can I become a distributor? Do you guys have job opportunities? How can I help you market on social media? Where are you based? You're speaking alternative meats like rabbit. Not enough people are speaking about rabbit meat. You're speaking about duck. Are we sleeping on these businesses? I know pork, rabbit, I think some people might find the said donkey meat as well. Huge in China. Duck, rabbit, and these are industries. My father was a hunter. My father, may he rest in peace. It was his birthday on the 29th of November. May he rest in peace. I know my 3 half brothers went to go and clean his graveyard in his grave site, in Newcastle. Not Ematate, no Sizweni, somewhere around that side. I've been connecting with them. So we're also currently remembering my father at the end of November. He was a hunter. I grew up eating rabbit meat. I grew up eating buck because of my dad. These are meats we're sleeping on because we're so fixated on beef and mutton, which is very expensive. We're sleeping on pork, even though I know for religious people, especially since I'm in an Islamic country, pork is not big for certain people, even in South Africa, certain church and religious groups. But these are business ideas for you. Connect with Spire Foods. Connect and say, look, Penn said you're a small business that's up and coming, and you guys might be the Clover of tomorrow. You guys might be the Afgri of tomorrow. You guys might be the Karen Beef of tomorrow, because they started small as well. But then certain people joined them. They invested, they funded, they marketed them. They became their lawyers, they became their accountants, they became their scientists and their researchers, they became their technology partners. They ran their website. And today you are wealthy because you've helped a company like Spire Foods grow into something big, which exports meats that are certified, healthy, and for the rest of the world. It is up to each and every one of us. Let me go and start my day, and let me go and see what Dubai has in store for me. Penuel the Black Pen. Again, check out the description for our sponsor for today. Go to www.spirefoods.co.za and then check out my pinned comment as well. If you want to sponsor any of my videos, the details are going to be in the description as well. Penuel the Black Pen. Have a great and blessed day further. Cheers.